In this lesson, we will examine the rules regarding the public transportation of passengers, particularly in terms of access, inadmissible persons, seating, briefing, and emergency evacuation. Passengers must remain in the cabin when the aeroplane is in flight, unless, and if it is safe to do so, they are granted temporary access by the commander to an area containing cargo, animals, etc. This includes the flight deck, where, in terms of access, the commander is the final authority. Normally, the only persons allowed on the flight deck while in flight are the crew, flight operations inspectors from the applicable aviation authority, or persons authorized under the operations manual. In addition, the operator must establish measures that ensure the integrity of the load. That is, ensuring that persons or cargo are not secreted aboard. If you have flown as a passenger, you will probably remember the rules regarding portable electronic devices, laptops, mobile phones, etc. The whole point is that these devices must not interfere with the operation of the aeroplane, particularly during takeoff and landing. However, most devices, other than mobile phones, can be used once the airliner is safely airborne. Mobile phones pose a greater problem as they may interfere with communications aboard, or be used to activate remote devices, and so they must not be used at all. It is the operator's responsibility to establish procedures for the use or not of these portable electronic devices. Now we move on to passenger conduct. The next two items deal with intoxication and behaviour. The basic tenet is that a person aboard must not constitute a threat to safe operations. That is, must not be intoxicated by alcohol or other drugs, nor behave so as to endanger the aeroplane or its occupants. Air rage, whether due to intoxication or not, is a target of these rules. In this section, we will examine the rules regarding the safe carriage of special groups of people, namely, persons of reduced mobility, PRMs, persons who are inadmissible into the country but have appeared at the border, those who are to be deported back to their country of origin, and those who are in custody and being transported by air. An inadmissible person is, according to ICAO Annex 9, Facilitation, a person who is or will be refused admission to a state by its authorities. This will be a person without an entry visa, or who has been refused an entry visa, etc. The basic rule is that the operator, usually through the operations manual, must establish procedures for the safe carriage of these groups of people, including, of course, notifying the commander that he has these persons aboard. Additionally, persons of reduced mobility must be seated so as not to impede the safe operation of the aeroplane, specifically in the manner shown on the screen. Now let us examine the rules regarding the safe use of the passenger cabin, including briefing the passengers on its safe use. The operator has a number of responsibilities here, again usually explained in the operations manual. He must establish procedures, such that only baggage which can be properly stowed in the cabin, that is, without impeding movement and access, especially to the exits and aisles, is carried there. Any other baggage and all cargo must be secured in other stowage compartments. Passengers must also be seated such that they can aid rather than hinder an emergency evacuation. Cabin crew will usually verbally check with the occupants of emergency exit row seats that they are comfortable with and able to perform their duties should an emergency evacuation be ordered. The operator must ensure that passengers are verbally briefed on the safe use of the cabin, either by the crew or an audio-visual presentation, especially that their attention is drawn to a pictorially rich safety briefing card. In addition, the passengers must be briefed on the following applicable items at the appropriate time. Before takeoff, the smoking regulations, the position of the seat and tray table. The back of the seat must be in the upright position and the tray table stowed. The location of emergency exits. The location and use of floor proximity escape path markings. The stowage of hand baggage. Restrictions on the use of portable electronic devices. And the location and the contents of the safety briefing card. Before takeoff, passengers also receive a demonstration of the following: the use of safety belts and/or safety harnesses, including how to fasten and unfasten the safety belts and/or safety harnesses, the location and use of oxygen equipment, including the need to extinguish all smoking materials when oxygen is being used, and the location and use of life jackets. After takeoff, passengers should be reminded of the smoking policy and the benefits of strapping in when seated, even if the seatbelt sign is not illuminated. Before landing, passengers are reminded of the following, if applicable: smoking regulations, the use of safety belts and/or safety harnesses. The back of the seat must be in the upright position and the tray table stowed. Any required restowage of hand baggage, and restrictions on the use of portable electronic devices. After landing, passengers should be reminded of the smoking regulations and the use of safety belts or harnesses. Finally, and to end this short lesson, passengers should be briefed on their actions if an in-flight emergency occurs.